The envelope had no return address, just my name, Eloise. My hands were shaking as I tore it open. 3 years. 3 years since my dad vanished without a single word, leaving me and Mom to drown in debt and shame. But when I unfolded that letter, something felt wrong. The handwriting wasn't his. Before we continue, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because what happens next will leave you speechless. The letter said, "Meet me where it all began." No explanation. No apology. Just that one line. I stared at it, my heart pounding. Where it all began. That could only mean one place. The old cabin by Miller Lake, the same place where he told me he'd always protect me. Right before he disappeared. I almost threw the letter away, but curiosity ate me alive. I needed answers. He left us with nothing, not even a goodbye. Why now? Why after all this time? That night I drove through the rain to the cabin. The door creaked open easily, as if someone had been there. Inside it smelled like dust and secrets. Then I saw it. Another envelope on the table with my name again. And next to it, a family photo of us I'd never seen before. But in that picture, there was a fourth person standing beside Dad, a woman I didn't recognize, and she was wearing Mom's necklace. My chest tightened. Who was she? Why was Dad smiling at her that way? I flipped the photo over, and what I read made my stomach drop. It said, "She knows the truth now, but who was she? And how could anyone know something I didn't?" Because just then, I heard the floorboard creak behind me. I froze. The sound was faint, just one step, but it felt like thunder inside that dark cabin. My heart raced as I turned slowly, expecting to see nothing. But there was someone standing in the shadows, a woman, her face half hidden, watching me. "Eloise," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You shouldn't have come here." I stepped back, my breath catching. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice barely holding steady. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked toward the table, toward the photo, and said softly, "He tried to protect you." "Protect me? From what?" The woman stepped into the dim light, and I finally saw her face. She was older, maybe late 30s, with dark hair and eyes that looked haunted. There was something familiar about her, like I'd seen her before but couldn't remember where. "I'm Anna," she said. "Your father didn't disappear. He was forced to." My pulse spiked. "Forced to? By who? What are you talking about?" Anna's hands shook as she reached into her coat and pulled out another envelope, identical to the one I'd received. "He sent me this the day before he vanished," she whispered. "He said if anything happened to him, I had to make sure you got the truth one day." I snatched the envelope, my fingers trembling as I opened it. Inside was a letter, this time in my dad's real handwriting. The words were rushed, uneven. "Eloise, if you're reading this, it means they found me. Don't trust anyone, especially the one wearing Mom's necklace. What I did for you." My throat went dry. "Who's they?" I asked, my voice cracking. Anna looked terrified. "You need to leave. Right now." But before I could respond, a loud bang echoed from outside, like a car door slamming. Headlights flashed through the window, cutting through the darkness. Anna's face went pale. "They're here," she whispered. "He warned me this day would come." I rushed to the window, but the glass was fogged. All I could see were shadows moving toward the cabin. My phone had no signal, and my car was parked too far down the road. "Who's coming?" I demanded. Anna looked at me with eyes full of fear and guilt. "The same people your father worked for. The same ones who made him disappear." My chest tightened as I looked down at the letter again. At the bottom, one final line stood out, almost hidden under the crease. "If you ever see her, run." I turned to Anna. She was shaking her head, tears filling her eyes. "You don't understand," she whispered. He wasn't talking about me. A cold chill crawled up my spine. "Then who?" Before I could finish, the cabin door burst open. The door slammed open so hard it nearly came off its hinges. Cold wind and rain flooded the room as a tall man stepped inside, dressed in black, his eyes hidden behind a wet hood. For a moment, Silence filled the cabin except for the sound of rain hammering the roof. Anna grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "Run, Eloise," she whispered, but I couldn't move. My legs felt frozen. The man's gaze shifted from her to me, and then he spoke, calm, deep, and unnervingly familiar. "You shouldn't have opened that letter." I swallowed hard. "Who are you?" I demanded. He lowered his hood, and my entire world tilted. It was him, my father, alive. Older, thinner, but unmistakably him. "Dad?" I whispered, my voice breaking. He didn't smile. His face was serious, cold almost. "You were never supposed to come here," he said. "It's not safe." Anna stepped forward, shaking her head. "She deserves to know the truth, Daniel. You can't hide it forever." My father turned sharply toward her. "You promised me you'd stay away from her," he snapped. "You have no idea what you've done." "Done?" I yelled, tears burning my eyes. "You disappeared, Dad! You left me and Mom with nothing, and now you show up here yelling at her? What's going on?" He looked at me with a pain I couldn't read. "Everything I did was to protect you, but now they'll come for both of you." "Who?" I screamed. "Who are they?" He hesitated. His hand moved toward his jacket pocket, and for a moment I thought he might pull out another letter. But instead, he pulled out an old, rusted key. He placed it on the table. "This," he said quietly, "is what they've been hunting for." The key looked ordinary. Small, metallic, nothing special. But Dad's eyes told a different story. Anna took a step closer, her voice trembling. "It unlocks the vault, doesn't it? The one in Redwood Bank." My dad's jaw tightened. "You should have burned everything, Anna." I looked between them, confused. "Vault? What vault?" Dad turned to me, desperation in his eyes. "It's not about money. It's about information. Files that could destroy powerful people. I stole them to protect someone. Someone you know." I blinked. "Mom?" Before he could answer, a blinding light hit the cabin windows. Headlights again. This time closer. Brighter. Multiple cars. Dad grabbed my shoulders. "Listen to me, Eloise. You take this key and run. Don't stop. Don't trust anyone." Anna stepped in front of me, shaking her head. "She's not going anywhere. She deserves answers." Then came the unmistakable sound. Doors slamming, footsteps crunching on gravel. My father looked at both of us and whispered, "It's too late." The windows shattered as something exploded outside, a deafening blast that sent glass raining across the room. Smoke poured in through the door. Dad shoved the key into my hand. "Go!" he shouted. But when the smoke cleared, he wasn't there anymore. I coughed as smoke filled my lungs, my ears ringing from the explosion. The front door was blown off, and everything smelled like burnt wood and gasoline. I could barely see, but I could hear Anna calling my name. "Eloise, this way!" She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the back exit, her grip trembling. My heart raced as we stumbled into the rain. The night was black, except for the flames licking the cabin walls and the headlights shining through the trees. We ran through the woods, branches slapping our faces, mud soaking our shoes. I clutched the key tight in my hand, the one Dad said could destroy everything. My mind kept replaying his last words. "Don't trust anyone." When we reached the clearing, Anna stopped, gasping for air. "We can't go to the road," she said. "They'll be waiting." "Then where do we go?" I shouted over the thunder. She hesitated. "There's an old barn a mile from here. We'll hide there. Then I'll explain everything." But I didn't trust her, not completely. Every part of me wanted to believe she was on my side, but Dad's warning echoed louder and louder in my head. "If you ever see her, run." As we approached the barn, something didn't feel right. The doors were slightly open, and light flickered inside. Anna pushed them open slowly, whispering, "Stay behind me." Inside, I saw a small table, a lantern, and files. Dozens of folders stacked neatly, labeled with names and government seals. My dad's handwriting was on every one of them. My stomach twisted. "He was telling the truth," I whispered. "He really had something." Anna's face changed. She looked at me, not with fear this time, but with something else. Something colder, you're right, she said quietly. He had something. And now you do. I froze. What are you talking about? Before I could move, she reached into her jacket, pulling out a small gun. My heart stopped. Anna, what are you doing? Her voice was low, steady. He warned you about her, didn't he? I'm sorry, Eloise. I didn't want it to end this way, but you were never supposed to find him. I took a slow step back, clutching the key so tight it cut into my palm. You worked with them, I whispered. She nodded slightly. I had to. You don't know what they're capable of. But you knew my dad. I cried. He trusted you. Her eyes softened for a moment. He did. Too much. And then, before I could react, another voice echoed from the shadows. She's not the only one who knows. Anna spun around, startled, as a figure stepped out from behind the stacks of crates. It was Dad, covered in dust and blood, limping but alive. Drop the gun, Anna, he said coldly. You've done enough damage. Anna's hand shook, her voice breaking. You don't understand, Daniel. If she leaves with that key, they'll kill us all. Dad looked straight at me. Eloise, listen to me. Whatever happens, don't give her the key. I was shaking. My heart pounded as I stared at both of them, one claiming to protect me, the other pointing a gun. And then, suddenly, a single gunshot ripped through the air. But I didn't know who fired first. Or who got hit. The gunshot echoed through the barn, followed by a heavy silence. My ears rang as I stumbled backward, my heart pounding. When the smoke cleared, I saw Anna lying on the floor, clutching her shoulder. The gun had fallen from her hand. Dad stood there, still pointing his weapon, his hands shaking. You didn't give me a choice, he said, his voice trembling with both fury and grief. Anna groaned, blood soaking her sleeve. You can't stop them, she whispered. They'll find her. They always do. I rushed toward her, confused and terrified. Who's they? I demanded. What do they want with me? She looked up at me, her lips trembling. That key, it doesn't just open a vault. It opens proof, files that could destroy people at the top. Your father took them to protect someone inside the system. Someone who wanted out. Dad's eyes flickered. Enough, Anna, he said. You've said too much. But then it clicked. The necklace. I looked down at Anna's chest. She was still wearing my mother's necklace. My throat tightened. Why do you have that? Where did you get it? Anna's eyes filled with tears. Because your mother wasn't who you think she was. My world stopped. Dad's expression hardened, but he didn't deny it. Eloise, he said quietly. Your mother was one of them. She worked for the same people I turned against. When she found out I was going to expose them, she made me disappear. I had to fake my death to keep you safe. The air left my lungs. You're lying, I whispered. Mom, he shook his head. She's not the victim you remember. Everything I've done, every lie I told, was to protect you from her world. Tears blurred my vision. Then why now? Why the letter? Because she's looking for you, he said. And when she finds you, she'll use you to get what I stole. Anna groaned again, whispering, She already knows, Daniel. She's on her way. Suddenly, headlights blazed through the cracks in the barn wall, a car pulling up fast. Dad turned toward the sound, panic in his eyes. We have to move, now. He grabbed my arm, but I didn't move. I looked at Anna, bleeding, whispering something under her breath. She's here. The barn doors burst open, and standing there, calm and composed under the rain, was my mother. Her eyes were cold. Hello, Eloise, she said softly, as if nothing had happened. You've grown. Dad stepped in front of me, gun raised. Stay back, Mom smiled faintly. Still pretending you're the hero, Daniel? You've caused enough trouble. Give me the key. I felt the weight of the small metal key in my hand. My whole life had been built on lies. And now both of my parents stood before me, one claiming to protect me, the other claiming I was part of her plan. Dad looked at me. Eloise, you have to choose. Rain poured harder, thunder shaking the barn. I looked at them, the man who vanished to protect me and the woman who betrayed him, and I made my choice. I ran toward the car, clutching the key, shouting back through the storm, "No one gets it. Not until I know the truth." Behind me, I heard my father yell my name, my mother curse, and then another gunshot split the night. I didn't look back. I just ran, into the rain, into the darkness, holding the key that everyone was willing to kill for. And deep down, I knew. This wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of uncovering why that key had my name engraved on it.